Sooner or later, it'll turn in my favor. It's turning around for me. So, look, have you ever been around a child that was between the ages of like 5 to like 9 when they are like brutally honest? They'll tell you in a minute, why you so big? Or they'll say something like, you stink. Or anything. Like kids that small, right? They don't have the fear of being honest, right? Because I can remember when I was a younger girl. I don't even remember how old I was, but I could just remember my sister's friends were in town, and it was one particular one. She was a lot bigger than everyone else. Probably like, I don't know how big she was. I know I was really small, but I can remember asking her like, "Why are you so big?" And I didn't mean it to be mean or rude or anything like that. It was just me as a child. I was confused at the fact that she was so big, right? And my sister, she was like, "Girl, how dare you?" And look, she pinched me. You see this bruise? I don't know if you can see it. You see this? You see that? Yeah. So I basically um have a permanent bruise on my arm just for asking that question because she pinched me. And every time I look at it, I was like, huh, I remember what that was. But it's crazy how uh in society, um it's like people want you to cover up the truth. They want you to act like the truth doesn't exist, right? And sometimes we have to be brutally honest with ourselves to understand that the past still has left some type of mark on us. Just like how I have this, the past has left some type of mark on our life. The past, the things that we've gone through have left a mark on us. It affects the way we see the world. It affects the way we treat people. It affects how we do in relationships, right? It affects how we can trust people. You know, a lot of people have never talked about some of the things that they've gone through in their life. And the Bible tells us that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. So if you never talk about something, how can you get over it? Because it's actually being able to stay and fester in your life without being challenged. You see what I'm saying? So we have to release these different things in our life so it doesn't go down to the next generation. Because by the time we have kids, a lot of times it's easy for them to just repeat what we did because we don't talk about it. You see what I'm saying? You have to shine a light on certain things for it to be known by people, so people, especially in your family, will know what to look for. They'll know what to pray against because we can't just think that what has happened with us is just an isolated thing. A lot of us have the same problems, but it's just we don't really talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So these issues can still go on and they can just, people can feel like they're struggling in silence and stuff like that. But it's a beautiful thing when we can come together and talk about stuff and release stuff. So if you have that with someone, please spend time talking about the different things that have went on in your life that you know for a fact affect you today. Trauma, any type of abuse, a bad relationship where somebody just straight up played in your face. A boss, a supervisor that did the absolute most. Come on now. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you have to talk about stuff. You can't talk about everything with everyone, but please release it in some type of way. And another thing I want to talk about is just us actually um, knowing who we are and knowing our value, right? Because just because we've gone through stuff, that doesn't diminish who God created us to be, right? That doesn't, we are not what we've been through, right? So, a lot of times, people will label you by the things that you have done, right? But God doesn't see us like that. You see what I'm saying? God sees us as His children, and He knew our life from the beginning to the end, and He still chose us to be His children, right? So God doesn't expect us to be perfect. You know, God doesn't expect us to be perfect. And so you don't have to ever think that you have to be perfect to still be used by God. It's actually in your imperfection that you're perfect to be chosen by God. You see what I'm saying? So I said all that to say this. Y'all, let's be brutally honest with ourselves. We don't have to wait for a child to come along and tell us something crazy. My nieces are like, I think they 7. Oh God. They give me a run for my money, okay? I mean, the sass is real. And then my son, he'll tell me, Mama, you talk about them for being sassy, Mama, but they really learn from you. I'm just like, you know, and so we have to, just know that the stuff that we've gone through, we can actually help someone else and teach someone else. Don't just allow the enemy to beat you down and you go through all these trials and tribulations, right? And you make it through. And you don't go and tell somebody else. You don't go and testify. You don't help your brother or your sister or the next generation to avoid that road that you went down and you had to struggle. You see what I'm saying? So don't let the enemy shut your mouth. We have to start, you know, letting God use us in multiple ways. You see what I'm saying? And that's really how we get free. And that's really how God really starts turning our life around. When we go out there and testify of God's goodness, we go out there and share that love that God shows us each and every day by waking us up with someone else.